thought was coming on.
Okay, we are recording. Okay, great. It's okay. Welcome everyone. We are recording this just to let you know for educational promotional purposes. Hi, Jen. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So I'm Edwin Rutch, Director of the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy, and I'd like to welcome you all to our introduction to the Empathy Circle Facilitator Training. I've been working for about 14 years on the value of empathy and started the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy, and it created the internet's largest website on the topic. And it's cultureofempathy.com. You can see it. There's hundreds of interviews. All those books behind me are all books on empathy, 3 rows of books on empathy. And I've interviewed most of the authors. You can see the interviews on the website. And our center does a lot of different projects on, just trying to build a more empathic world and society. We have a lot of different multimedia groups or social media groups. We have something called the Empathy Tent that we take out to public spaces. This was before COVID. And we offer listening and empathy circle practice out on the streets. And we'll be doing that again as soon as COVID is over. And we also do trainings on empathy trainings. And what I found is this empathy circle practice, which we're going to be talking about here today, is the easiest, most accessible, sort of a first step gateway practice to building empathy skills. It's sort of like a muscle. We all have empathy. We're all born with empathy, with that sort of way of being, but we can deepen and strengthen those muscles just as we can any other muscle. And the empathy circle is just a good first step gateway practice. And I would say the best so practice for doing that. So what I want to do is start off by just giving you an outline of what we're going to be doing today. And here I'm going to share the screen. And so this is our outline. I'm doing the welcome right now, and we're going to go around and hear from all the participants. We want to hear why you're here and where you're from, why you're here. I'm going to be, a couple of us are going to be talking about the training, kind of give you an overview of the training. We'll have a little time for Q&A, and then we'll go into how to take part in an empathy circle, and then we'll actually do one. So you get the real hands-on experience of it. And then we'll have a little debrief at the end before we close. And that goes for about 2 hours. So to begin with, we'd want to hear from everyone and just do some introductions. Let me put that in again. So Rita, you're going to just ask everyone, just give a little, ask people for their introductions. Take it away.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Rita. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. It's nice to be with you all today. We're just going to go around, in a minute, just to hear from everyone. You could just say your name, where you're located, and why you're interested in facilitating empathy circles. So yeah, I hope you can hear me okay. So I'll start. As I said, I'm Rita. I'm from Melbourne. It's also called Wurundjeri country in the Indigenous language here. And I've actually been helping facilitate empathy circles for like the last year, online and in person, outside of COVID, of course. And my jam is really about like building a regenerative culture, and that's three-pronged. It's about connecting to self, others, as well as our place in the ecosystem of life on Earth. So the empathy process really gels with that as a key way of connecting to each other. So that's my interest personally. So I'll pass it over to Sue. What about you?
Thank you, Rita. Hi, everybody. I'm Sue Dean, and I'm located in Sydney as well, or Sydney, not as well. Rita's in Melbourne. And I've been working with Edwin for, Edwin, is it a year or maybe a little over that now, hasn't it? I've been I've been researching and writing about empathy for about 10 years, but only made contact with Edwin a couple of years ago because I was teaching at a university, teaching in healthcare disciplines. I'm also a mental health nurse, and introducing it to trying to incorporate it in healthcare curricula at universities. That's sort of what I've been doing up until now. So it's lovely to be here with everybody.
Thanks, Sue. What about you, Jen? Jen Moran?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jen Morin, and I'm in San Francisco, which is land that was previously inhabited by the Ramaytush Ohlone people. I am grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have found Empathy Circles. I was looking for a nonviolent communication trainer, and then I came across Edwin on KPFA talking about empathy circles. And that was just last week. So I'm really grateful to be here. And wow, with the work that I've been doing, I'm really building empathy for myself, first of all. And I really feel that that's going to help me to widen the work that I'm doing with schools. I'm going to be I'm developing a program for educators. It'll be for middle school, so teenagers. I'd like to be able to implement this empathy circle structure with teachers and then also in the schools. So yeah, that is what I am doing.
Good to hear, Jen. We have someone in the core team who is also focused on that. So yeah, it'd be good if you could keep in touch about it. What about you, Uli? Is that how I say your name?
Yes, that's right. My name is Uli. I am in Sydney, and I'm a nurse and a psychotherapist working in mental health, teaching mainly dialectic behavior therapy. I became interested. Sue told me a lot about the Empathy Circle, so we've been working together. I've also been a facilitator at university for students who are in mental health placements. And so Sue has encouraged me to come along. And I feel that learning never stops. And so whatever I can learn more about empathy, I would greatly appreciate.
Thank you, Uli. Good to hear from you. Over to you, Larry from Florida.
I am Larry in Florida, and I'm interested in empathy circles, probably related to what I've read and participated in with NVC circles, and before that, Course in Miracles, and before that, the EST training. And I actually believe that empathy is something that all humans, including myself, obviously, would benefit from being aware of and participating in. And the empathy circles appear to me to be a way for humans to easily experience equanimity or equality, and that characteristic is essential to empathic communication. So I'm very excited to be here, and I'll stop there. Thank you.
Good to have you, Larry. Thanks for that. Over to you, Priyanka. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Priyanka. I'm located in Bangalore, India, and I completed the facilitator training last month, and I'd highly recommend it because it gave me the confidence to facilitate circles. I am a communication skills trainer, facilitator by profession, and I want to make the world a more empathetic place, and that's why I'm here. And I hope to have a great session with you guys today.
Thanks, Priyanka. Over to Anu. Make sure to unmute yourself, Anu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rita. Hello, everyone. And I'm Anu. I'm in Pune, India. Have been talking with Edwin about how do I join empathy circles, and somehow the time was not matching. So very excited that this timings is so suitable, and therefore I can be here today and meeting all of you. So I also practice nonviolent communication, and I try and use some of it in my work as a facilitator and coach. I'm a emotional intelligence certified coach. So while practicing I think nonviolent communication really helps. Besides NVC, I also practice theater of oppressed. I'm a certified practitioner in TO, which is theater of oppressed. And I think being a part of a community like this, it's definitely going to help me learn more. So excited and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Anu. Great to
Thank
have you
you.
as well. Over to you, Denise.
Hi everyone, Denise. I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia. I attended the training, I think it was August when I was still in India. I also have background in coaching and also NBC. And I was already hosting some empathy circle, especially when the pandemic started, and I feel that the spaces like this are very much in need, and I am currently still hosting empathy circle or some sort of circle to the marginal communities in India, in Orissa. Having said that, I think everyone needs it, and in fact, I constantly reach out to the support network that I have among the NVC, mainly community. Yeah, juggling between self-empathy and seeking empathy from the peer. And so I'm coming back to I don't know, to support and to refresh and to just experience with everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Denise. Magali, is that how I say your name?
Yeah, you said it right. So I'm in Arizona. I'm currently a college student, and I learned about this from pandemic professors, and I'm really excited to see what's going on. I never heard of this, and just hearing from your guys' responses, I never knew about like empathy for like giving yourself empathy. So it's like kind of interesting. I think it'll be beneficial for me because I want to be a teacher, and I think empathy is something you need in a school environment for students to feel safe, and so they're able to engage their.
Thanks, Magali. Mainak, over to you.
Hello, so I am Mainak from India. So I've been in the innovation and design thinking practice for 10 years, and currently I'm a student of behavioral science. So for me, it's an academic interest of the behavioral underpinnings of applying empathy. Secondly, I'd like confer with Larry's comments about the impassive communication and achieving equanimity in applying this, and I'm certainly looking to incorporate more of that in my. That's my interest.
Thanks, Mainak. Your microphone was cutting in and out a little bit. We heard most of what you said, but maybe if you can get some headphones, that might help for further conversation. Thank you. Good to have you. Yi Lee?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Lee. I am a registered nurse from Buffalo, New York. the reason I'm joining the circle, I actually don't even know this, but I was involved in a volunteer organization. It's called a Pandemic Professor. So they require you to joining the empathy training, which I'm glad that I can be part of right now. Listen to all you guys speaking and sharing, but I'm just ready to learn more about what this is and what I can apply for my students in the future.
Great to have you. Thanks for being here. Over to you, Sean. So we're just introducing ourselves. I don't.
Hello.
Why you're interested in being part of the Empathy Circle Facilitation?
Okay. I have
Go
a
ahead,
colleague who's.
Sean.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yep.
Yes.
Good. I'm in Australia, and I live near a train line, so my bandwidth tends to disappear when a train goes past. So I might be interrupted. I do work in healthcare, and I'm finding, I think, with everything happening with COVID-19 in my personal life, that I'm finding a need to re-engage with, I suppose, myself, engage with passion, but trying to get my heart, my gut, and my mind reconnected. And so I work with empathy, but say you work with it, but I've been burnt out as a healthcare practitioner as well, and I understand that empathy is a lot more than just sort of wanting to care for someone or having empathizing for someone, or trying to put yourself in their shoes. So I'm here to I suppose to explore a bit deeper how I engage with people as well, which I can hope to bring into my work. Thank you.
Good to have you, Sean. Over to you, Hillary.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hillary. I'm from California. I learned about this empathy circle through pandemic professors as well. I'm joining here today to kind of learn more about that, since I took part in kind of a circle like this that pandemic professors put on. And it's just, my goal here is to kind of learn about how to connect with people and create community, and like just to become a better like listener and friend to anyone.
Thanks, Hillary. What about you, Evelina?
Hi, I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I've been a fan of Edwin's for a long time, watching interviews with different places, or different people, I mean. And I'm very passionate about social justice, so that's kind of where I'm aiming at, is maybe become an educator and not just use empathy, but to teach empathy to others, and create a community that's more focused and understanding of each other's needs. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. But I'm very excited to hear so many people involved in education and in involving empathy in that. So thank you.
Good to have you, Evelina. What about you, Chloe? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from Illinois. I hadn't heard of the Empathy Circle before this, but I'm very happy and ready to learn. I heard about this through pandemic professors as well.
Great, I'm glad you're jumping in with us today. Laurie, last but not least.
Hello, it's nice to see everyone's shining bright faces. And my name is Lori, and I'm from Florida, and I'm here on the invitation of a friend. Thank you so much. And just thank you for this generous, rich offering, and this space together. Why am I interested? Because I feel, for me, and that this is a blanket of, or a space, possibly a method to release accumulated unforgiveness in a compassionate, gentle way. And that's what I'm interested. I'm interested in collaborating in forgiveness and and inclusivity. So thank you so much for this offering.
Great. Thanks everyone for introducing yourselves and making the time to be here. I'm going to hand it back to Edwin now to continue the intros.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rita. And so glad that so many of the pandemic professors are here. We're talking with that group about having a specific training specifically for pandemic professors. And yeah, and we also have a an introduction tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So a bunch of pandemic professors come to that as well. So let me now just share with you our kind of an overview of the training. I'm going to start with, oops, let me put the URL for, I should have put that in before. This is the URL for the course, but I'm going to show it on the screen here so you don't need to go there right now. So this is our the website for the course. We're just using a Google website at the moment as we sort of develop this training. And so I'm just going to go through, sort of scroll through the different parts of it. You know, if this is a good page to bookmark, and then you can scroll down, and most everything you need to know about the course will kind of link from here. This is one of our previous cohorts. You know, it just gives a little bit of an overview about what the course involves. This is module 1, consists of five sessions, about 2.5 hours each. We meet once a week, and there's no cost to take part, because we really believe, all the trainers, we believe that if the world had more empathy circles, if we could really spread this practice, this one simple practice, that it would just really contribute to the well-being of society. And so we're really just trying to scale this up, but you can donate if you would like. So that's an option there. And then if you scroll down, there's a link to a start page. If you click through that, it takes you to our Facebook event page, and you can see this is like a little video. You can see the different events. This is today's event. So you can see all the upcoming intro cafes here. So you can just go here and check that. And you can see there's one tomorrow as well. We'll be having this one on our Thursdays, which is in Australia Friday, the next 2 weeks as well. And then we do have these every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that's more convenient for Europe and the US. So anyway, this is a video of us at UC. Whoop, having trouble playing. This is, hopefully I can get this to play. Let's see. Yep, there we go. This is us, our empathy team. One of the trainers there is Lou, and we're at UC Berkeley. And this is actually one of the founders of Pandemic Professors. She had started a class at UC Berkeley here in California, San Francisco Bay Area. And the class came, we set up the empathy tent on Sproul Plaza, the main plaza, and then did empathy circle trainings there with that class. And then Alyssa, who's the person there, she's went on to start the Pandemic Professors. So you can hear a little bit about that history there. You can go through, you can check the discussion section. There's all kinds of updates. It's a good place just to see just updates of what we're up to. You'll see the updated videos. For example, this video will end up here. Events, the next cohorts we do end up there. So, so anyway, that's a good page to bookmark. And even if you're not on Facebook, I think you still have access to it. You can view it, you just won't be able to interact with it. Then you go through, and the upcoming cohorts that we have are here. We just started this cohort a couple days ago, and that cohort is full. We usually have, what is it, about 21, 22 people per cohort. We found that's about the most we can have in a cohort, and they're always filled, and we usually have a wait list. And you can click through here. For example, the next one we have in 3 weeks, starting in 3 weeks, is cohort 11, and we have the times there. If you click through there, it'll take you to the sign up page. And there's some, just the steps for taking part of there. One thing we ask is you fill out an application, and there's some, other steps. You'll put your name here on the list, so you can see we have still a lot of openings. But we do have a wait list here, and we wait until most of the participants haven't done their 2 empathy circles. So once they do the 2 empathy circles, we move them up into the confirmed section up here. So that's those are all links that you'll find from this main site. That's the application I mentioned. There's the prerequisite, and maybe we should say, Rita, did you want to just mention the time commitments for the overall training, what people can expect? And we're not letting anyone new in, so the room is locked.
Yeah, sure. I'll mention that. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, as Edwin mentioned, there's like the prerequisites for being part of the training is to attend 2 empathy circles, and this can count as one of them because we're going to have an empathy circle session. So you can just go to like one of the other events that are on the event page. And then once you've done that, then you can sign up for one of the cohorts. The cohorts go for like 5 weeks, and they're 2.5 hours long. Yeah, and each week is kind of like a deepening in your empathy facilitator training. And yeah, and then after each of the sessions, you're also encouraged to have 30 minutes with an empathy buddy between your empathy sessions, so you can practice a bit more of the method. And then also during your 5-week training, you're also encouraged to host like some empathy circles of your own in IRL, in real life, or online, solo, or either with another co-facilitator who's part of the training. So that's kind of that's how the training sort of goes. And you're always encouraged to like come back and facilitate or go through the facilitator training again if you like. Some people take it like 2 or 3 times until they're fully like confident, because it's really fun. There's like lots of role playing and things like that, role playing like challenging scenarios and troubleshooting, whatever comes up as a facilitator. So it's a really good thing to be a part of.
Yeah, thanks. And so it's really, we not only want you to take this one training, these 5 sessions, but to do it multiple times and become a trainer. So we really want to train you to become a trainer so you can start training others. So this is sort of our empathy Ponzi scheme, because we want to really spread this practice widely. And, at least my goal is that if every person in the world could just learn this practice, it would be just one really constructive first step. And, learning, deepening your empathy is like a lifelong effort, but this is a really good first step gateway practice. So anyway, going back to our screen here, you have the module 1, and you can go through, you'll see all the session outlines are here, the times for, each cohort, and what we cover, so the basic outlines. You can get sort of a heads up about that. There's various sections, like we start first off by talking about the values of a culture of empathy, because the empathy sits into a bigger vision of really making a culture that's to raise the level of empathy. And so we talk about that, those values and the vision a little bit, the how-to, the facilitator support. We really are trying to build a community so you can have support from others to hold empathy circles. And, there's sort of so this is just sort of the overall information about the training. And there's all kinds of links here, about about empathy in general. We have just tons of, info on that. And you can just kind of scroll and poke around the site. There's more about train the trainers and et cetera, and each of the kind of go into depth. So I think that's pretty much it. Did I forget anything, Rita? Anything else that you can, or Priyanka, do you have any thoughts, anything that you want to add?
You covered it all from my end.
Okay. Then we're going to open it for some Q&A. So any questions about the training, we can answer those. So just give it a few minutes here to hear from you all.
If you want to type your question into the chat, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, you can just like raise your hand and unmute yourself and jump in.
Okay, Anu?
Yeah, just wanted to know that do we also have any training assignments when the trainer goes on after every session, something to work upon, something to study, or
Yeah, for the
yeah.
trainer, that means
Yeah.
you're taking it at least the second time or more. And then you'll come 30 minutes before the session and stay 30 minutes after. And we have we assign, you actually be presenting different parts. Like here, I'm, presenting and Rita's presenting and, well, we have, you'll actually start giving presentations of different parts of the training. So yeah. And in terms of homework, there's not, it's more just giving the presentation, but we are developing the training. This is just the first module that we're working on. We are working on other modules like how to hold an empathy cafe, how to do empathy circles in context, in a family context, in an education context, in a business. So as you do the training, you'll kind of join us in the design, of these other trainings.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So anything else? Okay, and that, was that something, Evelina, or just?
I was wondering if there would be more events for opportunities to do empathy circles for the requirement.
There's the next 2 weeks at this time slot. So if you come back next week and then tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, the same URL, every Friday. So you can come every Friday. So this counts as one empathy circle. You come to one more and then you're ready to do the training.
Okay.
There's also though a series of like other empathy cafes, circles like held online. If you go to the Facebook page that's building a Center for Culture of Empathy and go to the events section, it always has like a list of pretty much all the empathy circles that happen, and they're often on like different topics and they go for like the full like 2 hours. Yeah, so you can kind of experience it without needing to do the orientation again if you just want more of a raw experience of what it's like when you would facilitate a circle as well.
Yeah, and you can also facilitate your own. If you just have the instructions, get 3 or 4 friends together, hold an empathy circle, that counts as well. If you just you do 2 empathy circles anywhere before you take the training, that's it. So with that, maybe I'll just share unless there's any more questions. Let's see, I'll just quickly share the how-to video here. So this is a 6-minute sort of the minimal instructions for how to take part in an empathy circle. Ideally you've already seen this online, but sometimes people come, they haven't seen it. So we'll just share it and then we'll do our circles. So here I just remembered when we share, I've got to click the share sound. And there we go. Yeah. Oh, is that? Somehow it's not. Is that showing the how-to or?
No, it's not playing at the moment.
Oh, but is it showing it?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. I'm Edwin Rudge, Founding Director of the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy. Did that work?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Working.
I'd like to welcome you to this short presentation on how to take part in a basic empathy circle. So next, let's look at the step-by-step how to take part. An empathy circle starts with 2 to 7 participants. Here on the screen, we have 4 participants, which I find is an ideal number. There are 4 basic roles, and the roles rotate among the participants as the empathy circle unfolds. 1, the speaker, is the first person to speak. 2 is active listener who actively listens to the speaker. There's the silent listeners, they quietly observe and witness. And the facilitator who organizes, schedules, and hosts the circle. They also do the timekeeping, and they have some experience with the process and help keep participants in the process. However, everyone has the responsibility to hold the process and the practice. So to begin with, the facilitator will start the empathy circle. They welcome the participants. They lead introductions if the participants don't know each other. The facilitator invites participants to give short introductions, for example, their name, where they're from, and something personal about themselves. The facilitator then reviews the empathy circle process to remind everyone how it works. They announce the discussion topic, if there is one. Even if there is a topic, you can always talk about what is alive for you. That is what is on your mind in the moment. And 5, they set the speaker time limits, perhaps 5 minutes, for example. And the facilitator then asks who would like to start to be the first speaker. So at that point, the participant volunteers to be the first speaker. As speaker, you select who will be your active listener, and you can select anyone that you want. You speak about the topic given or whatever is alive for you, and so you'll speak a bit until you have maybe expressed an idea or two, and then you want to pause to give the active listener a chance to recap what they understand that you are saying and feeling. If you say too much, the listener may have difficulty in reflecting it. As the active listener, you are listening to the speaker to get an understanding of what they are saying and what is important to them. You are giving them your full attention as a supportive companion on their inner journey and exploration. When the speaker pauses, you recap your understanding of what they said and how they feel by reflecting the essence of that in your own words. You can summarize, paraphrase, or even say the speaker's words back to them. Even though you may have a strong impulse to respond with your own ideas, judgments, analysis, advice, and sympathy, or even questions, resist the impulse to do so because these common responses block the speaker from moving along their internal journey. You'll be able to say whatever you want when it is your turn to be the speaker. If you don't reflect the understanding to the speaker's satisfaction, they can always say it again. Then as speaker, you check, do you feel understood to your satisfaction? If you do not feel understood, you can say it again, perhaps in different words. If you do feel understood, continue sharing. Again, after speaking a bit, pause to give your active listener a chance to recap their understanding of what you said. As the active listener, you again share your understanding of what the speaker said and meant. The cycle of speaking and reflecting continues until you, as the speaker, do not have anything else you'd like to say, or until you get a signal from the timekeeper. If you get a signal from the timekeeper, then finish up what you're saying in a sentence or two. After you get a final reflection, you can end your turn by saying something like, "I feel fully heard," or something like that to indicate you are done with your speaking turn. At that point, the roles then rotate. The active listener becomes the speaker. The person they select becomes the new active listener. For everyone having equal time, it is good to select someone that hasn't spoken lately, but it is your choice. The others in the circle become the silent listeners. This process of taking turns in speaking and active listening continues for whatever time is allotted for the empathy circle. And this was just a very short introduction. The best way to learn the practice is taking part and doing it. There is more in-depth material on taking part in an empathy circle and facilitating one at empathycircle.com. Thank you for listening. Alrighty, so we want to go right into the circles. Usually when the Empathy Cafe and Empathy Circle, we don't spend as much time on all the explanation. We try to get you right into the circle as quickly as possible, but we do want to prepare you for the training here too. So yeah, so we have 4 circles, and whoever has ECF on their end of their name will be the facilitator in the circle. And we will go for about an hour and 10 minutes, a little bit less, maybe an hour and 5 minutes or so, 10 till the top of the hour, and then we'll come back for a debrief. So here we go.
Can you announce the topic, Edwin?
Oh, the topic, of course. Thank you. I had it here. I was going to do a post of it. Yes, I had it all ready to go. Thank you. So we have, we're going to do 4-minute turns because we're kind of short on time. The topic is just, it's like, what's your experience of the empathy circle? Like, you're here in an empathy circle, you know, what does it feel like to you? What is, you know, why do you want to do the training? Or you can just talk about anything that's alive for you, just whatever you have energy about. So just whatever is on the top of your mind. And that's it. Anything else, Rita? I forgot. Always forget something.
No worries.
Thanks. Okay, here we go. See you in the rooms. So you can just click on the button, it'll take you into your room, and one group will be staying here.
Wait, what do I do?
It'll take you automatically. Oh, you just stay, you're here, Hillary's here,
Okay.
And Denise and Chloe, is that, oh, are you, let me just see. 1, 2, 3, there we go. Yeah, so she got sent to the right room. So Denise, do you want to facilitate, or how are you just do the facilitation? Since you're...
whatever works for you, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to do the time, do you have a time clock or?
I can try that. So how long we have got for the whole room?
We have only like about an hour, 65 minutes. So we're just doing 4-minute turns.
Okay.
And so maybe you could be the first listener, just to sort of model it, having done the training. So whoever would like to start, you know, you can speak to Denise. She's just going to model it. You get 4 minutes.
I'll try my best, okay? It has been a while.
It's about being a speaker.
Yeah, so you speak to Denise and you share a little bit, you pause and let her reflect, and then you speak a little bit. So yeah, go ahead.
I can try it.
Yeah.
Okay. Denise, thank you so much for listening to me. I wanted to talk to you about this, this program that is happening right now, this circle. I've been trying to be a part of this circle for a very long time. And one is the timing that was coming in the way. The second, I guess, also is the fact that I've been a part of nonviolent communication in the past, in the last couple of years. And that has really changed the way I look at empathy now. For me, empathy used to be I have worked with an insurance company, and it's Aviva, and I was working as a trainer there. And it's really interesting because when I used to work there as a trainer.
Remember to pause, give her a chance to reflect back.
Thank you, Edwin. So what I'm hearing so far, Anu, is that you've been trying to attend this training, and one way or the other, you haven't been able to, and finally you're here. Hopefully you're able to proceed. And so I'm not sure if I'm sensing some celebration there. And I guess through your sharing, I also hear that you have been participating in other circle and in MVC's community, and I'm hearing maybe feeling some sort of benefit out of whole experience.
Yes, and yeah, thank you. So celebration and also the redefinition. Honestly speaking, it's also about trying to gather more sense of what empathy is really about. Yeah, and I'm also reflecting on my life as a professional, as a trainer with Aviva, and I'm also willing to share with you that those days my understanding of empathy used to be very different, and it was more of saying words to the effect without really without really feeling it coming from the place where it need to come from. Honestly speaking, I still do not know where it needs to come from. um, but then those days we were told, we used to attend to customer complaints. So as a part of my role, we used to listen to the complaints, and we used to say, for me, empathy was saying this to someone, I know where you coming from. Yeah, and I think a lot changed when someday I got a call from a customer, and I said that I think I know where you coming from. That's what we were trained to use, say as a complaint diffusing process. And so this customer, this client turned around, and he said that, oh really? And he said that, are you a British? I said, no, I'm not. He said that, "Mhm. Are you a mechanic? Because we used to talk to."
Remember to pause. You can ask for a pause, Denise, too. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say the
Yeah.
4 minutes is up, but then we can give a little bit more space
Yeah,
to
I'm so
wind up.
sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I could have given, there's so many things I could have done. I could have asked you to pause, but I do enjoy giving you more space, and I could have given you a warning earlier, like a little warning. But I would just like to reflect on what you just shared just now first. So from what I hear, that sounds like you are somehow searching and finding some clarification, wanting some clarity of what exactly it is, empathy, and searching for what really works for you. Maybe you were once upon a time taught a certain way, and exploring now that, hang on, so which way does it really work? And yeah, yeah. How does it land?
Yeah.
So it's just,
yeah, sorry, I think I wanted to say something.
Oh, it's just, if you feel heard, then it would be Denise's turn
close.
next. So
Yeah.
did you feel
I
heard?
feel.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel
For
fully
now,
heard.
it'll
Yeah.
come back
Thank
around.
you.
Yeah. So
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Denise. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Okay, so I have to choose somebody now. It's my turn. I wonder how many have we got here? Okay. Is it Evelina? Is that how I pronounce your name?
Evelina.
Yeah. Okay. So do you still want me to time, Evan, or you can time?
Yeah. You can time if you feel okay with it.
Yeah, it's okay. I can time.
Am I the active listener?
Yes, please. Yeah. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me set the timer and it starts. So Edwin was saying that, let's set the topics on. It's almost like, why are we here? And then as we were coming into the breakout room, there is a voice actually. It's like, why am I here? I remember when during the training, there was a part of me a little bit struggling because the way there's a format that we kind of follow here, and it's a bit different from what I'm used to. But I do appreciate the differences. Yet I'm always like kind of balancing and talking to myself about appreciating the difference, but also have this little struggle with the way maybe I prefer or I'm used to. I'll pause here so you can do your reflection and then I'll continue.
Well, I'm hearing that you're adjusting from a different way of doing empathy circles, I believe is what I've heard, and that you're having an internal dialogue with yourself about making that adjustment and maybe being flexible and what your preferences are and what you might not enjoy as much.
Yeah, in a way. And I don't know, I was a little bit confused for a moment that why am I here, and what is there a longing, a deep down, like a deep longing that I'm yet to able to name, and maybe I need to step up further and to really engage in, I don't know, like planning and stuff. Like Edwin was saying that they are working on building an empathy circle specifically for family or for school or for teachers, and I was like, oh, and there's this longing yet maybe fear of commitment, but yeah, I'm here. So it's lovely also that the space allow exploration instead of I'll pause there.
Well, I'm hearing that maybe you're searching for a purpose of, what has drawn you here, and maybe to reflect more upon what empathy means to you.
I guess it's more about where do I sit in the whole system, how much I'm willing to give, how much I'm willing to really dive in, and if the end result is, if my searching, out of searching, I come out and say no, I just want to be participant or not that involved, that is okay too. But I'm sensing maybe I do have a longing to be more involved, yet it's still searching.
I see.
Time is up, so that you can reflect on that piece, and we will close it for my turn.
I think I understand. You're searching for what your place is within how involved you want to get with empathy facilitation, and whether you're wanting to make that commitment or not, or more of a commitment or not. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now it's your turn, and please choose an active listener. Usually we try to choose someone who haven't been participating, so everyone gets a kind of equal time. Okay, so please choose.
I will choose Hillary. Hi, Hillary.
Hello, I'd love to listen to you.
Thank you. Empathy. Okay, now I've totally lost track of the topic. I guess I feel that empathy is a very valuable but an undervalued skill. And I feel like I have not been as involved as I would like to be in something like this. And I also feel like immediately upon the introductions of the people here, like I had found a community that I could relate to. And I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to learn. So
What I'm hearing from you is that empathy is something that has been important to you, and then now that you're here and you found this space, you feel very comfortable here and are enjoying it.
I think going forward, I mean, I think it's been necessary skill that needs to be valued more, and the way forward I feel is to be able to educate people about the value of empathy and also teach the skill of empathy. I think there's a lot of injustice and sadness in the world that comes from a lack of empathy. And I hope I just, I can't just sit by and not do anything anymore, so.
So what I'm hearing is that you being here is kind of your way of spreading kindness and then making kind of like a change and spreading empathy to others.
I hope so. I think it's going to be extra necessary in the time to come. And I don't know what else to say.
I think kind of just reflecting on all that you said, kind of that idea that empathy is very important and that we should be spreading it, and then that you want to take that into your own hands and be the person to be able to spread empathy to others.
And I don't know what else to say other than I feel gratitude and a little bit overwhelmed, but mostly just excited to be among so many people that value empathy.
And then kind of to summarize that, I think you're feeling very happy that you're here to be able to build community with others.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. So Hillary, now you can go. Edwin, are you participating?
Yep, I'm part of it.
So maybe, yeah, to complete the circle, it will be nice if you choose Edwin. Otherwise,
Yeah. Then I'll choose Edwin.
Okay, listening.
I think coming to this empathy circle at first was something that made me kind of nervous because I've never taken part of anything like this, kind of outside of pandemic professors. Like, this was a brand new group of people that I've never interacted with before. And so learning about that in a new space made me kind of nervous, but now that I'm here, I'm learning a lot.
Okay, so coming here at first, you're feeling some nervousness because it's new people, sort of a new approach, and now you're starting to feel more comfortable, I'm hearing.
I think it's just, I think I'm still kind of nervous now. Like I don't really have a lot of things to say just because I feel like the mission of this empathy circle is very important. Kind of that idea of spreading kindness in a time where we really need kindness is important. So me being here, learning these things, learning from other people, kind of just like adds to my like me enjoying the space.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you see the importance of empathy and of kindness. So just being here and sort of supporting that just feels good. But even still, you still feel a little bit of nervousness and maybe anxiety even still.
Yeah. I think what drove me here was, again, pandemic professors, but I also have like my own, this like mission, I guess, inside of me where I want to be able to create connections with people. So as a tutor, I have to create connections with my students, but I also have to understand the families of those students. And then in the future, I want to become an educator. So I have to kind of like learn about my students and my students' families in an even bigger context.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you value connection. You're connecting with students. You want to become an educator. In that case, you'll need to connect with their families and sort of larger sense of connection. So it sounds like maybe that's one of the reasons you might be interested in this for that reason.
I'm just like, there's still like a lot of like drawing blanks in me right now because there's, like I said, that nervousness. But I think also, especially in a time right now in like the area that I'm living in, there's like a lot of political unrest, kind of social unrest that's making a lot of issues hard to talk about. And I think the space and then the things that we're learning in this space allow me to begin conversations with others and then learn from others and kind of just like creating connections with the people that really mean a lot to me and I want to learn more from.
Okay, so initially you're sort of drawing a blank because you're still feeling some nervousness, but then some ideas came to you about your community where there's sort of political strife, and the people, it sounds like the people that mean something are important to you, and you'd like to create connections among them, and you see this as maybe a way to contribute to that.
I feel very heard.
Okay,
Thank you.
Great. Anu, can I speak to you?
Yes, Edwin.
Yeah, so yeah, it's very nice hearing everyone's reasons for being here, sort of enjoying it, and so really grateful for everyone sharing their stories, feeling some gratitude for that. Do I just reflect that?
So I hear you saying, Edwin, that you really value that the people from different parts, they choose to come here, and you are also feeling happy hearing these stories, and that makes you feel connected.
Yeah, the word was gratitude. I was feeling gratitude.
Yeah, you feeling yeah, sorry. Yeah. So you are essentially you feeling thankful for people to come here, be a part of a circle like this, and share their stories.
Yeah.
And
very much so. It feels like it's kind of my way of contributing. The empathy circle, for my sense of contribution to humanity, kind of spreading this feels like a sense of contribution. And when I hear people say, oh, I'm kind of getting something out of this, I feel like I'm contributing. So that's also a nice feeling of contribution.
so what I hear from this is, Edwin, that you looked and you felt very happy with this idea that you are doing your part. You are able to contribute to the society by having people, inviting them coming over here, and that makes you feel that you are doing something meaningful.
Yeah. And I'm now trying to, how do we spread this practice? Talking about the political, my congressman here in the Bay Area where I live said that he would take part in an empathy circle. He's Democrat and he would take part with Republicans. So we're trying to organize that right now. So I want to take this practice into the, into the Congress. So that's one big project right now that I'm working on. And my congressman has agreed to take part. And every week now I'm working with his staff. We've met 3 times now to, kind of work towards this.
Yeah. So you sound happy. What I'm hearing, you sound happy with the development, which is that it's now going to the political space, and your congressman, I, I didn't understand whether it's a congressman or men.
Man.
Man. Okay. And he is a Republican.
He's Democrat.
Oh, he's a Democrat, and they are now willing to talk to the Republicans, and that gives you, that makes you feel happy about the fact that we can now take it to the political circles, and the empathy, how it can be utilized there.
Yes, I feel very heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're free to choose anybody in the circle as an active listener.
Is it me? Oh, okay. So we're going back. Okay.
Yeah. But now you can start fresh a circle, like whoever you want to choose.
Okay. So I would take Evelina.
Hi, I'm happy
Hi.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Evelina, I would like to talk about mm, my journey as a coach, and that's what just came to my mind, and I thought I would I would like to have someone here about this. I've been pursuing my ICF certification, and I want to be a coach, which is International Coaching Federation, ICF, and they offer accreditations and credentialing of new coaches. So very often I find myself getting caught between the work, and what I would love to do is deepening my coaching practice. So I take a pause here.
So I hear that you really appreciate, you really have this passion to be a coach, and you're torn between your work and that passion. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And I'm also talking here about the accreditation process. So I've been working as a coach anyway, but I think that the clients would value more if I am certified coach from ICF, and now that requires a tedious process of um, collecting 500 hours of coaching, and maintaining a log Excel sheet after every coaching conversation. It also involves appearing for a CKA, which is coaching knowledge assessment. Uh, so all this is kind of overwhelming. Mm, there is also this dilemma: should I go for it? Does it really matter? Because I'm a coach anyway. So would a certification help? I'll just take a pause here.
I hear that you're kind of conflicted on the
Mm.
value of the certification that you would really like to pursue, and you think your students, your student or your clients would value it, but it would take a lot of work and it would be very overwhelming, and you know, it would be a very difficult balance with your work as well. So that's what I'm hearing.
Mm. Yeah. But then it's just that I want it. A part of me wants it, and the other part feels overwhelmed, and it's a difficult choice. I think I would pursue it this year. Last year was very difficult. The work was so less; it almost dried up. So a lot of many of us, I'm sure, in every part of the world, we had to find ways to stay afloat. So I had to kind of do a lot of odd work, odd jobs, if I may say this. And coaching took a backseat. So I feel bad about it.
I hear that that you really want to move forward with this training, because it has kind of taken a back seat. It's something you've always wanted to do, but even though it's so overwhelming, you still, you know, feel very driven and passionate about moving in that direction with your life.
Yeah, and also the mention of last year. No, I'm just saying, okay.
Thank you for clarifying with your last bit.
Yeah.
So, Evelina, would you like to choose somebody?
Denise? Oh, I don't hear you. Oh, I guess, yeah. Anyway, I guess something that came into my mind about getting started in this empathy circle was when I first was watching Edwin's videos of, you know, interviews with various people. This was like years ago. This was like 7 or 8 years ago. I was working trying to, well, I was not working. I was just doing, you know, this blog I was trying to do, and I was trying to do a paper about, you know, the different mistreatments and conditions of prisons in the United States. And I ended up running out of empathy because it was overwhelmingly devastating to me that the stories that I had, because I had never, you know, known about that in my life, and I was kind of starting to read stories upon stories of people and injustice, and I just was overwhelmed by the thousands of, you know, and I literally, I just, you know, I wanted to be thorough and I wanted to study it, and I just went overboard and I just stopped because I couldn't have any more. I ran out. So I'll pause there.
Thank you. I was just about to pause you. Thank you for sharing. So what I heard so far is you first come across Edwin's empathy videos 7-8 years ago, and when you were trying to do some paper on the mistreatment of the prisons in the prisoner in the prisons, and eventually you run out of empathy because you're just overwhelmed with the situation. Yeah. Did I miss anything?
I don't know. I guess I was reminded of that because here we are now, and I didn't even know. It just kind of occurred to me the other day. I mean, I've, studied Marshall Rosenberg and all, a little, and I was excited to hear so many people with NVC background here and so on. But yeah, I don't remember what my point was. What happens here? I guess at that point in my life, I kind of became like, even though I found the videos so inspiring, I felt like in despair and like would trying, it just seemed so overwhelming that so many people were just cruel and the system didn't favor the kindness of people, and that, it just felt hopeless. And so for a long time, I don't think I didn't want to connect more with my empathy because it hurt. Because to me, like, it seemed like, sorry, it became a really dark place because I didn't have hope that empathy could win.
Thank you for sharing. I will reflect the last piece that you just shared. Unfortunately, the time is up also. So what I heard just then is, I guess the last hour or so when you hear the others sharing about, they also have a background about Marshall, the NVC, and you're glad that we're all here. And then eventually you go back to the fact that when you come across that video, it was actually inspiring, yet you look at the system, it's really, maybe there's hopelessness there, just how cruel people are, and the system just not really, you don't see any hope, and you choose to maybe disconnect with it all because you don't see that at that point you don't see that empathy would make a difference, and you use the word dark place, and yeah, you can sense the heaviness, and yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. It's okay, I move on to the next person. Thank you. So I think Hillary, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to listen to you.
Yeah. Two things. I think when I was listening to Anu talk about her coaching journey about accreditation, and I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about that. And then when Evelina talked about her sharing what I got triggered is how sometimes question that is it enough, like, or is it really going to work, and I'm hearing my own voice at the back now saying that maybe I'll come in from a different angle, which is it's all nice and good that we come into this call and we have an understanding and talk like this, but when we go out to the society, it's like 99% of the people are not like this. I'll pause there.
What I heard is that as you were kind of listening to everyone else, you had some thoughts that you wanted to share. And now that it's your turn, you're kind of thinking about how like in this space, we're trying to create an empathetic culture, but in real life, that might not be the case.
I quite often, after attending Empathy Circle, I always walk away feeling gratitude and just so appreciate that I managed to find spaces like this for myself, and yet there's always this grieving that morning that I'm connecting deeply with people who are in boxes. Yet quite often people near and dear in theory, like that you live with or you wish to have really close connection with, maybe somehow they're not exposed to the whole idea, or maybe somehow they have their own fixed ways of being, or their longing is just not here. There's this mourning, disconnect.
What I'm hearing is that being in this space makes you very grateful that you're able to connect with those who kind of share this value of empathy with you, but it kind of makes you a little sad that we're only online or on this platform, and that for those in real life, they might not share that value as the same way you do.
Yeah, of course, then there's always flip side, and then at least we can start, right? But yeah, and we all knows all those theory about, you know, the ripple and then go further to the ocean and all that. But yeah, at times you just really just want to pause and take a fresh, like take a break and breathe and say, okay, and acknowledging that we accepting the limitation, I guess. Yeah. One more thing I think I'll say, and just it's lovely to see that the group is getting bigger and bigger, and yeah, it's just so there's hope there.
Sorry, do you have last thoughts? All right, so what I heard was kind of what you mentioned was the ripple effect. That what you're hoping is that you can kind of make a change, and that you're hoping that the things that you're doing will spread, and that you're glad that this empathy circle has gotten bigger.
Thank you.
Edwin, would you like to listen to me again?
Sure, it's your choice. You can select whoever you wish, but I'm glad to if you want.
All right. I kind of wanted, as I was listening to everyone, I kind of wanted to talk about kind of my goals to become an educator again, because I think when I heard everyone saying they wanted to make kind of an impact, that resonated with me, and that I feel like being here in this space is my first step to being a better listener and being a better person to connect with others. I'll take a pause there.
Yeah, so you want to go back to your topic of becoming an educator, and you were hearing what everyone was saying and wanting to share about your steps towards becoming an educator.
I think right now I'm in a space where I feel kind of unsure about what I want to do. I have this big goal, not quite sure how to get there. It's just a lot of uneasiness in me as I take steps towards that. I think just surrounding myself with community in different ways makes me feel grounded in a way, especially during the pandemic when we're inside. And I think creating community is like the first step to also becoming someone that can kind of spread positivity to others.
Okay, so you have a goal, and it sounds like it's like a big goal, not quite sure how to get there, but seeing maybe creating a sense of community is like a first step, and that creates like a sense of positivity and can help move you towards your goal with that community energy.
Yeah, and I think this just goes back to like I've always wanted to become an educator to help others. Earlier, Denise mentioned that like ripple effect, and I thought that was really important to me because if I'm one person, but if I can affect one other person and they can affect someone else, and that just creates a bigger effect, I guess. And I think that's just like now that I'm here, I've been here for an hour and a half, just the space and the things that we're doing in the space really add to that ripple effect.
So there's a sense of you want to be a teacher because you can affect somebody's life and can, sounds like, contribute to them, and that'll send out a sort of a ripple effect. And you're seeing, you know, you've been here an hour and a half, and that there is sort of a sense of community, or it's sort of has that feeling to it. Maybe it's supportive for what you're wanting to do.
And well, I guess I'll stop here because I don't have
1
any
minute
thoughts.
left.
But,
That was 1 minute.
yeah. I think I'm just kind of thankful for the opportunities I've had to kind of be here in this space and like the people that I've connected with during this time.
Okay, sharing some gratitude, thankfulness for being able to share here in this group. Sounds like you feel fully heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. Then speak to Evelina.
Hi, I'm happy to listen to.
Yeah, I was thinking what's coming up for me was like, I feel a lot of hope. It's like, I feel pretty hopeful. I'm having a good time. It's like all the empathy work, you know, is I have a lot of fun and really enjoy it. Sometimes I kind of overwork, get kind of headaches, you know, from looking at the screen all the time, but I feel pretty hopeful.
Well, I'm hearing that you're very excited and joyful and hopeful about empathy circles and spreading empathy to others. And sometimes you get headaches and uncomfortable from looking at the screen, but overall, it's you feeling very positive.
Yeah, and I think it's because I grew up an evangelical Christian, right? Kind of conservative evangelical Christian. So the empathy is kind of fits in there. So I'm kind of like evangelical, evangelical with empathy. Yeah, so yeah.
It kind of give me a visual evangelical with empathy, like, I don't know. I hear you say that you feel kind of, I don't know how to summarize that.
Yeah, it's sort of like wanting to spread the word, right? It's like, oh, we got to spread this word. I really believe in what I'm doing. I want to spread the word, you know. So
I don't know if this is the right way to say. You feel a sense of divinity about it, like it is something that is like spiritually connected for you. Is that correct?
It's not quite divinity, because I became kind of
Yeah, that's not the
skeptical
right
about religion. It seems a little bit too kind of high, but it's about like, yeah, there's some kind of a sense of meaning, a sense of contribution, sense of creativity, sense of meaning, I guess. Yeah, just meaning for my life. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, I understand. Kind of give you a sense of purpose and meaning in your life to be able to do these empathy circles and teach empathy.
Yeah, and it's more than this, because I see it as, you know, I think it was Denise was saying, oh, you can create these little worlds. You know, I have that same kind of skepticism of people being secretive, and you have your little group where, oh, we can all hear each other, and the rest of the world, you know, there's a big mess. I'm like, hey, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., going to set up the empathy tent in front of the White House, and I'm going to demand that they, you know, the Congress and the president take part in empathy circles, go on a hunger strike or whatever, you know, in front of the park there. And, you know, really, it's sort of a forward, outward, you know, change the world kind of thing with empathy.
So I'm hearing that you have great ambitions of changing the whole world with empathy circles.
Megalomania. So I feel very heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're up.
Sorry, I'm getting really tired. Well, I will choose Anu.
Thanks for choosing me.
I'm kind of reflecting and also feeling hopeful I mean, despite my story and, you know, that having been in a great place of darkness at a point, like I've overcome much of that in many ways, but I think doing this empathy training will also help me feel like I'm learning something that is valuable no matter what I do in my life, and that I can share it and can make my own contribution, you know, in that way.
So I hear you saying that, you know, after having heard all that you've been hearing, and also having shared your story of what you have gone through, you know, you come from this dark place that you mentioned, and although you have overcome that in many ways, but then this empathy training, this circle here, and being a part of it makes you feel hopeful and makes you look forward to how can you contribute and how can you create value. Is that right?
Yeah, I think now I also see that being here will be an inspiration to me. I think I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, would like to reflect on this. You feel joyous. You feel comforted with where you are right now, and you also find this quite inspiring. This community and the people that you find yourself with, and that's about it. You think that, you know, that makes you feel complete, and yeah.
I'm also excited about this idea to taking it to the White House. I mean, instead of a defeatist, I've always been optimist, but sometimes in a defeatist place. So I like the idea of not just bringing it to schools or places like that, but just, I even saw there was a, you know, a previous event, it was the same day I found the empathy training application, but it was like hours afterwards, and I was like, oh, I missed this thing with the government and Empathy Circle, and I was like, bummer, because that sounds really exciting. So I'm excited to get in on any of that that'll go on, and maybe I can do that same thing in my own community. That would be really fun. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll reflect on that. You sounded very, very excited about what Edwin shared with you. You know, taking it to the governments and bringing that kind of big change. And you were looking forward to attend a training in the past where, you know, you had this government group, but you couldn't do that. And now you are excited with the fact that how can this be taken to places beyond schools, beyond you know, the community circles, and take it to the places where it really makes it big and brings more meaning.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Mm, I would choose Hillary.
I'd love to listen to you.
Um, okay, so as I was listening to Denise, you know what really, a thought that came to my mind is one of the NBC retreats that I was a part of, and it was a 10-day residential stay there kind of training, and we were made to give empathy to self because that's what nonviolent communication, Marshall's philosophy, recommends, that you need to start by beginning to give empathy to yourself, and it was just so difficult. I'll take a pause here.
So what I heard from you is that at one point you had to go to kind of a retreat and learn how to be empathetic to yourself, but that was very difficult.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was so difficult. It still is. It still is. I find myself beating myself so much sometimes for not doing things or not achieving what I set out to achieve. And in those moments, it's so difficult to empathize. I'm sorry, to empathize with self. Um, it sounds like sometimes it just sounds like compensating. It sounds fake. It also sounds something like a patchwork for not doing or for not showing up fully, and then giving love um, to myself. So essentially I've had this difficulty um, in believing that there is something called self-compassion. And yeah, I'll take a pause here.
What I heard was that even now you still have kind of a struggle with being self-compassionate to yourself. You find yourself kind of beating yourself up for things that you aren't able to do. And it sounds like it's something that you want to work on.
Yeah. And Hillary, I also want to share here that I'm very good with giving empathy to others and listening to them and trying to say or do whatever I can. But when it comes to self-empathy, that path is still it still looks difficult. Now I would love to know the reason. I don't know. So maybe by meeting people here, by undergoing the training, I think I might find the answer to that. Yeah, but then that's how it is.
So it seems like even though you're very good at showing empathy to others, it's still a very difficult process for yourself. And you hope that in this space, with these empathy trainings, that you'll be able to finally learn how to be empathetic to yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you feel heard?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. I also think that what Denise was saying, that the people out there may not understand the language. It's called the language of love or language of heart. So you need to be in the right company is what I also feel. Thank you.
I saw that Edwin mentioned 5 minutes. Would I be like the last one?
Yeah, I'd be the last person. You got 4 minutes.
Okay.
Close.
I'd like to ask Denise to listen.
Sure. Okay, lovely to. And with me. Yeah.
So, I guess just kind of my last thoughts about this empathy circle is I kind of agree with what Anu said about not really being empathetic to myself. Like I have all these big dreams of creating change in others, but I think starting with myself and learning to be okay with my mistakes and then move on from my mistakes, or just not beat myself up for the things that I have or have not done, is a starting point.
So reflecting on what Anu shared, you really agree on what she mentioned about how you have big dreams to make change and shift others and help others out, but when it comes to self, you find yourself also couldn't help but beat yourself up and really criticizing your own faults and mistakes.
I think that's kind of one of my big goals for this year, especially because we're still in like the first few months. There's like a lot of things to work on with like being in quarantine. I'm by myself a lot more, so it's a lot more time for me to learn about myself, to understand myself. And I hopefully when I go back to school in person, I'll be able to kind of share my like the things that I've changed about myself to others, and hopefully share the things I've learned here with others as well.
So considering the year has just started, you're really hoping that this year you can really focusing on learning yourself more and understanding yourself more, and as the school come back physically, hopefully you can share what you've learned, and also maybe I sense that maybe share, and also maybe the ripple effect, and to spread it, and to yeah.
And I guess again, just the whole very thankful to the people that I've met throughout, I guess, this quarantine, the things that I've done throughout quarantine as a way of being nicer to myself. I've reached out a lot more than I would have if I was in person. So I think making strides.
And you're reflecting how actually this quarantine has been good in a way, in the sense that somehow you've been nicer to yourself during quarantine compared to physically. Maybe you wouldn't have reached out to people as much as you would have in quarantine. And I think I missed something at the end there.
Oh, it's just kind of like reaching out and meeting people the way I wouldn't have if I was in person. You got that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have time.
Okay. I think, yeah, I think just my goal for this year, again, to be nicer to myself. I think be nicer to my family, my friends, and then just ground myself in community and find a way to spread positivity.
So once again, you reinforce the fact that this year you really want to be nicer to self, to family, friends, and hopefully spread to the community and further.
Thank you. I feel heard.
So everyone's going to be coming. Thank you, everyone. But everyone's going to be coming back in here in about 30 seconds. So just a heads up. So thanks for sharing. And I'm going to make a comment in the big room about self-empathy. So kind of address that question.
Thank you for bearing with the flip side sign, and me just throwing into the sit and a bit awkward, but I think thank you.
Yeah, it worked well. It was good that you could facilitate. Thanks, Denise. Okay, big yawn there from Stretch from Rita. A lot of sitting. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So we have about 14 minutes. We just want to take, let me just put in, we'll take 30 seconds each to share any learnings or insights from the Empathy Circle. Priyanka or Rita, do you want to call on people to just hear from each person?
Yeah, sure.
You want to do that, Rita?
Wait, Priyanka, did you want to do it? Okay, no worries, I will. yeah, we would just love to hear anything that you want to take away from the circle, whether it's what you experienced, something that you felt, or something that was shared that inspired you. So whatever comes up for you would be great. So how is it for you, Evelina? You're first on my screen, so you get to go first.
Well, I think what I will take away is the inspiration that I feel, and I think there are others that have shared about being in a community where empathy is valued, and about sharing the learning and sharing the teaching of empathy with others, and also some struggles that people have with, or I mean, I think most of us have with empathy, especially when it's for our own self. I think I will just focus on the positivity and excitement that we have shared here today.
Thanks so much. Hillary, what about you? Insights and takeaways?
I think that for me personally in this space where I've kind of built a little bit of community, I think that's important, especially to spread empathy. First, you kind of have to start small within this circle, and then hopefully you'll be able to spread that to others.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Hillary. Anu?
Yeah, thank you. And for me, the takeaway is this extreme sense of connection that I found. Also, for me to focus on is the power of empathy when you have a space which is very inclusive and invites you to share and to let you know that I'm listening. That gives you the courage to be vulnerable, helps you open up. You know that no one is judging you. Yeah, so that gives you the courage, and once that courage is offloaded, you share, you feel lighter, you feel better. So I'm walking away with feeling lighter today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anu.
Thank you.
Khan, what about you?
It was my first empathy circle, and I was very surprised of the openness of people. I didn't realize that you can go in that direction in such short amount of time. And I'm also very surprised, as I shared in the small group, about how different people have different styles of reflecting back. And I'm just very grateful to be here.
Thanks, Khan. Jen, what about you?
Well, this is my second circle, and it was just as extraordinary as the first one. And I just really feel that the sense of sharing that we're able to do with each other when we completely don't know each other is just, in the words of Priyanka, like magic. Yeah, I feel that, yeah, it's just, powerful. I don't know. I don't even know. It's the experience of it seems beyond words in a way, which is interesting because it's this really all about speaking and being heard. But what actually happens in the connecting piece and is very, I think it's heart opening. I think that's what I feel, what I'm experiencing is like a lot of heart opening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much.
Magali?
Yeah, so this is my first empathy circle, so I wasn't expecting to just be put in the empathy circle like right away. But I like the experience I learned a lot in how like important like where empathy like where the empathy skills should be in place, and it's kind of like uh one thing I learned from is like from Sue, since she's like a healthcare professional. She mentioned how empathy is not really shown in the medical field, and that's kind of what like I experienced today because I went to the doctors and I mean like they were just doing like what they're supposed to be doing. It wasn't really like if my mental health was okay. Um so I think these empathy circles should be part of it, like be part of training everywhere else.
Thanks, Magali. Lee, what are your insights and takeaways?
Do you mean me?
Yes, you. Lee.
Oh, okay. So I think I'm just really humbled to learn that we have more commonality than our differences, and really confirm that sharing vulnerability is a sense of empowering, and it's powerful to go to depth with complete strangers, and but still sharing a sense of belonging and respect. So yeah, it's powerful.
Thank you. What about you, Sue? How was it for you this time? You're on mute at the moment.
Yeah, we had a lovely circle. It was just really, really powerful. I think for all of us, it was yeah, terrific experience. We deviated a little bit from the script at times to sort of explain things or the process, but I think that was okay. Yeah, it was great. Everybody in my group, you're terrific.
Thanks. Uli, over to you.
I feel I've just spent an hour on sacred ground. It was really beautiful to meet fellow human beings on different parts of the world. I felt fully heard, and it was a very unique experience. And yeah, like Priyanka says, it's magic. I didn't expect it, and so I feel, yeah, it was beautiful, really heartwarming. Thank you.
Thank you. Priyanka, what was it like for you this time?
So I think we were from 4 different countries, and I think all different ethnicities and backgrounds and professions. And it always amazes me, but never ceases to amaze me that even though we are like different human beings with different skin colors and backgrounds, we have the same feelings and needs, and we are all connected in that way. And I was really touched by what Uli said about being on sacred ground, because I realized that's how I was feeling. I was feeling like, you know, when you're feeling this, having this amazing spiritual experience where you feel really blessed. And it's kind of sad also, because it means that we're living in a world where we are not being heard at all, like in the outside world of the empathy circle. And that's why it's so special. And I want to make this normal. I want to make it normal for people to be heard. And that's why I want to spread empathy circles everywhere. Thank you.
Thanks, Priyanka. Larry, what are your takeaways and insights from today?
Sacred ground. I like that. Sacred ground. We are standing on sacred ground. And these empathy circles make that clear and obvious for everyone to open our hearts and share with one another. I feel so at home. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to share in our group. And thank you, Sue, Magil, Lori. Thank you all. I love you all. And I know that that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Manak, what are your takeaways?
Yeah, so this is my second circle, and I observed that I am a much better active listener than a passive one, and there's a lot of thoughts on my mind. I need to that's something I need to work upon. And second, like I feel uh, uh, joyful for the fact that the process somehow evokes a lot of happiness and a lot of smiles around. So I'm amazed by the process, and I'd like to continue to be part of this process.
Thanks, Mana. Laurie, what are your takeaways?
Well, thanks to the group, I felt like we dove into a Milky Way sized heart-shaped swimming pool. It was it was like the expression leveling the playing ground comes to mind, and I felt just like very loved when people nominated, and I like that term too. Nominate an active listener. That they felt that they wanted me to hear them, and it kind of like deleted the credentials after the name, and that, you know, we're one, and I just felt blessed by the heartfelt sharing, and that somebody felt comfortable to share what was on their heart. Thanks. I pass.
Thanks, Laurie. Denise, what are your insights from today?
I think I know why I keep coming back to these circles. It just things it really fills my need for purpose, contribution, community, belonging. And the beauty of witnessing how, or experiencing and witnessing how it really make a difference in everyone's life, and how everyone's glowing, everyone is filled with peace and joy, and yeah, better than me just flicking the phone or anything else, and it's good to be here. And one thing I just keep thinking, that as much as we come to this circle and receiving empathy, no matter we are in active listening sport or we are silent listener, we co-create the space constantly, and so we are actually also giving, and through giving we are receiving. It's such a beautiful cycle. Enjoy it, everyone.
Thank you, Denise. Chloe, what are your takeaways that you want to share?
My takeaways were, I was really surprised by the kindness and the empathy that people had in these circles. And I think that I came in not knowing anything about these circles, and I think I definitely want to work on doing more of these in the future.
Thanks, Chloe. Edwin, last but not least, what are your insights?
Okay, yeah, thanks, Rita. So in our group, the topic of self-empathy came up, and maybe self-compassion. And there's a little bit of a sense that, well, when you have self-empathy, you have to go off by yourself and, you know, have this self-empathy. But I see, actually, it's within the empathy circle that when somebody listens to me, I'm able to go into my own felt experience, and that's self-empathy for the speaker, right? The speaker is able to share and somebody's accompanying you on your own inner journey. So you're not off by yourself doing self-empathy, maybe feeling lonely. You're in connection with someone going into you know, who you are and sharing. So I think that's something that the empathy circle does, is it allows you to listen to others, but in listening to others, you're supporting them in empathizing with themselves. And likewise, so we're all helping each other empathize with ourselves as well. So it's a sort of a mutuality there. And one of the core values of the Empathy Circle and a culture of empathy is that sense of mutuality. So with that, we're 1 minute over. I'm going to put in a link here. This is our feedback form. Let me just double check them. And if you could click on that, if everybody's clicking on it, just hit the link on there. Everybody got it? Is it working for you? You got it open? So if you scroll down, just type in your email address. You can just start typing your email address in there, and then your name, and everybody kind of doing that. Anybody not doing it yet? Okay, so we're going to leave you with that to sort of fill that form out. And in closing, we just want to get some jazz hands sort of for our portrait. And if your video is off, if you could turn your video on so we can just have a portrait with everyone, just with your jazz hands.
If you want.
Denise, are you there? Are you with us?
My hand's already there in my
You're already there. We need the picture. We need the Manik. Manik, are you there? You got? Is it possible to turn your video, or Lori?
You haven't, Uli. Uli.
Yay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got the jazz hands. So we'll see you tomorrow, or we have a cafe, or next week, same times, to be continued. And in the training, so fill out that form. So goodbye for now. And if you're a facilitator, stay. We're gonna kind of debrief after for the facilitators.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.